Hey y'all, this is Southern Woods here. Welcome to round 2 of the Cookie Cracker Brand Tournament. Alright, round 1 was, it was a doozy. Alright, we had a couple sweeps. We had 1 or 2 Cinderella stories make it to the second round, and we had a few good ones as well, a few contentious matches. Alright, in round 2, we have some Cinderella stories to look through, like the 21st seed Biscoff and the 23rd seed Lance Crackers. Hopefully your favorite ones have made it this far. We have a few heavy hitters coming through, like Chips Ahoy, Keebler, and Oreo. Round 2 is going to be best out of 5 as well still. So first to 3 points will win. Enough rambling. Let's get this started with the first matchup of round 2. The number 1 seed, Chips Ahoy Cookies, against the 16th seed, Nutter Butters. First category we're going to roll is category 2, which is going to be that established date. Chips Ahoy was established in 1963. Meanwhile, Nutter Butters were established in 1969, 6 years later. So Chips Ahoy just slightly older, getting the first point here. All right, next category we have is category 7, which is going to be that logo preference. Nutter Butter is a decent logo itself, okay? It's all right. However, I think, in my personal opinion, that Chips Ahoy is the best cookie cracker logo out there. I think the color scheme's amazing. I think it pops and it's simple. Nutter Butter, decent enough, but I'm more gravitated towards Chips Ahoy getting the second point here, going up 2-0, threatening to sweep Nutter Butter. Next up, we have 4, my personal preference in the matter. Not a big fan of Nutter Butters. I know a lot of people really like them, but I personally don't care for them really at all. I'm not a huge fan of Chips Ahoy either. I think they're overrated. However, I do like them better than Nutter Butter, so they're going to go up 3-0, sweeping Nutter Butter, which is probably one of those fan favorites. So Chips Ahoy moving on to the Great 8. All right, because we don't want to get copyrighted with an NCAA term. And Nutter Butter, probably butthurt. They're out of here. Next matchup we have is the 9th seed Nilla Wafers against the 8th seed Wheat Thins. So pretty close in the seedings. One's a cookie, one's a cracker. The first category is going to be 9, which is product placements. So for Wheat Thins, they are in 16 movie/TV shows. Meanwhile, for Nilla Wafers, they are in a total of 81. So Nilla Wafers goes up 1-0. Now, category 10, which is going to be the music industry. How many times are these brands referenced? Nilla Wafers are in 22 songs, most notably by the artist KW. Meanwhile, Wheat Thins are in 4 songs, most notably by the artist Anthrax. All right, the band Anthrax. However, Nilla Wafers a little bit more. They go up 2-0, threatening to sweep Wheat Thins. Next up, we have number 1, which is popularity. Wheat Thins just a little bit more popular, seated 1 seed higher than Nilla Wafers. They will not get swept. They are down 2-1 still, though. All right, next up we have is category 5. Category 5 is going to be price per box. For Wheat Thins, $3.45 on average. For Nilla Wafers, $4.80, a whole dollar more and some change. So Wheat Thins going to tie it up 2-2. All right, next up we have is category 3. Category 3 is going to be review or customer rating. Which one has a higher rating on Amazon? For Wheat Thins, 4.7 out of 5 star. Meanwhile, for Nilla Wafers, 4.7 out of 5 star. So it's a re-roll. Next category we have is 2. Category 2 is going to be established date. Wheat Thins established in 1947. However, Nilla Wafers established in 1898, like before the 1900s. So Nilla Wafers gonna squeak out the win here, 3-2. Moving on to the Great 8. Wheat Thins, you're out of here. Too thin, couldn't pull it off. All right, our third matchup we have is the 5th seed Ritz crackers against the 21st seed, one of the Cinderella stories, Biscoff cookies. First category we have is subscribe. Hit that subscribe button if you've liked this tournament so far and want to see more tournaments in the future. Join that Southern Woods community. We also do outdoor videos and food reviews and other stuff. All right, next category, for real this time, our first category we're going to draw is category 2. All right, so right back to the established date for Ritz, 1934, getting close to 100 years old. Meanwhile, for Biscoff, 1932, 2 years older, gonna come out with a point here. Next category is going to be category 7, which is the look preference here. Biscoff is okay, kind of simple, kind of boring, honestly, in my opinion. Meanwhile, Ritz, bold. All right, the gold and blue color scheme is very nice, simple, but yet has something to it. I like Ritz a little bit more. They're going to tie it up 1-1. Next up, we have category 4, my personal preference. Biscoff won with this the last round. However, I'm not a huge Biscoff fan. But Ritz, I'm honestly not a huge fan of Ritz either. They're decent, but do I go sweet or salty here? Usually I'm a salty person, but I think I'm feeling sweet today. I think I like Biscoff a little bit more, so they go up 2-1. Next up we have is category 8, which is going to be slogan, mixing two together. Biscoff, unique taste, crunchy like no other. All right, that's kind of a mouthful. Meanwhile, for Ritz, life's rich. Life's rich with Ritz. All right, Ritz is kind of, the fancy hotel, right? So maybe there's a correlation there. I like it a little bit more. It's very simple, catchy enough, tying up 2-2. All right, next up we have category 3. Category 3 is going to be review customer rating. For Ritz, 4.8 out of 5 star, one of the best. Meanwhile, for Biscoff, 4.8 out of 5 as well. So the customers on Amazon really enjoy these two. So they're still tied up 2-2 as we re-roll. Next up we have is category 6, which is going to be a variety of flavors. For Biscoff, they have vanilla, chocolate, and 3 others for a total of 5. For Ritz, they have honey, wheat, garlic butter, and 16 others for a total of 18. All right, so Ritz does pull this one off. All right, and keep its crown for now. Moving on to the grade 8. Biscoff, you almost pulled it off, but you didn't. You're out of here. Next up, we have the 13th seed Townhouse Crackers against the 4th seed Goldfish. First up, hit that like button if you've liked this so far. Show you support. Get me on that algorithm. But for real though, category 9 is going to start us off. Category 9 is going to be that product placement. There is none for Townhouse that I could find. Meanwhile, for Goldfish, 74 movies and TV shows. So quickly going up 1-0. Next up we have category 10. Now we'll move on to the music industry. For Goldfish, they are in 226 songs, most notably by Fish, funny enough, and ABBA. Meanwhile, for Townhouse, they weren't in any songs, once again, that I could find. So quickly, Goldfish going up 2-0. Threatening to sweep. Next up, we have category 1, their popularity seating. Goldfish ranked 4th, Townhouse 13th. So Goldfish gonna sweep Townhouse 3-0. Moving on to the grade 8. Townhouse, you are out of here. We are halfway through the second round. Next up, we have the 3rd seed Keebler against the 14th seed Milano Cookies by Pepper Ridge Farms. First category we have, all right, it's category 7, which is going to be that logo preference here. Milano, it's decent. It's kind of, there's some homage to it. It has a slight fanciness. I don't hate it, but I think Keebler is the second best, all right, just behind Chips Ahoy in terms of logos in this industry. It's kind of classic. The red, white, and green color scheme's unique and eye-capturing. I like the leaves around the emblem. I think it's a really good logo, and they're going to get the first point here. Next up we have is Category 2, Category 2 being the established date. Keebler established in 1853. All right, I think tied for the oldest here. Meanwhile, who's the other one? Milano, 1957. All right, nowhere near. Almost 100 years older, over 100 years older than Milano, so Keebler goes up 2-0. Next up, we have Category 4, which is going to be my personal preference. I think Keebler tastes cheap. All right, I like the fudge stripes as much as anyone, but I think Milano has more quality and more of a taste to it that's not just not just waxy sugar. So Milano is going to get a point here because of my preference. All right, one flew out, and that's going to be Category 8, which is going to be slogan preference here for Milano. My yummy secret is Milano. I don't know about that one. Meanwhile, Keebler, uncommonly good. Uncommonly good, or my yummy secret. I don't like what my yummy secret's making me do. All right, making me look a little zesty. So uncommonly good, even though I don't think it's that good, is going to get the point here. Keebler wins 3-1. Moving on to the grade 8. Milano, you are out of here. All right, third to last matchup, we have the 11th seed Saltine Crackers by Nabisco against the 6th seed Cheezits. Or Cheezit. All right, number 9, which is the movie preferences or movie product placements. Cheezit is in 193 product placements. Meanwhile, Saltines are in 51. All right, decent enough, but nowhere near Cheezit. They get the point here, 1-0. Next up, we have Category 10, going to the music industry here. Saltines are in 109 songs, most notably by Jack White, which is one half of the White Stripes, if you know that band. Meanwhile, Cheezit is in 104 songs, most notably by Ski Mask and 21 Savage, arguably more popular artists, but 5 less total songs. Saltine's actually getting a point here, tying it up 1-1. Next up, we have this Category 1. The more popular one, based on their ranking, is Cheez-Its, 5 seed higher, so they get a easy point here, going up 2-1. Next up we have is Category 5, which is going to be that price. All right, how much will it hurt your pocket? A box of Cheez-Its, we're running about $3.99 on average. Meanwhile, Saltines, $4.50 on average. So, Saltines a little bit more expensive. They do not get the point. Cheez-It does, and they win 3-1. Moving on to the Crate 8. While Saltines, you may be a little salty, you are out of here. Second to last matchup in this second round, trying to make it fairly quick, we have the 7th seed Triscuit against the biggest Cinderella story in the second round, the 23rd seed Lance Crackers. First category we have is Category 2, which is going to be that established date. Triscuits were established in nice and even 1900, turn of the century. Meanwhile, for Lance, 1913, 13 years later, not going to cut it. Triscuit gets the first point. Next up, we have Category 4, my personal preference. Triscuit barely won with this last time, and they're barely going to win with this again. I don't mind Lance Crackers. They're decent enough. All right, like the orange peanut butter ones are my favorite. However, I really enjoy Triscuits, especially if it's a good box. It's a good box. So they go up 2-0, threatening to sweep our biggest Cinderella story. Next up, we have Category 7, which is going to be the logo here. Lance barely won with this last time. I really don't care for this logo. But I really don't care for the Triscuit logo either. The Triscuit logo, a little bit more vibrant. All right, a little more polished in my opinion. Lance has a little bit more detail to it around the font, but Triscuit's font's a little bit better. I like Triscuit a little bit more. All right, the difference in the eyes, the little dot on the eyes, is honestly the edge that they needed. So they are going to sweep Lance, our biggest Cinderella story, 3-0. Moving on to the grade 8. Lance, you are out of here, sadly. And we have one more matchup in this second round. All right, in this Big 16, and that's going to be the 15th seed Famous Amos Cookies against the second overall seed Oreos. Yep, you thought for a second they weren't in this tournament. Like, Alex, you definitely forgot one of the best. No, I didn't. First category, 9. Going to be product placement for Famous Amos. They are in a total of 4 products, or 4 movies and TV shows. Oreos, 205, the most on this tournament. So Oreo going to get the quick point here, 1-0. Next up, we have category 10, and now I'm going to the music industry. Oreos are in 64 songs, most notably by Weird Al and R. Kelly. Meanwhile, Famous Amos is in 118 songs, most notably by Kanye West and Nicki Minaj. So Famous Amos actually getting a point here, tying it 1-1. Next up, we have category 3. Category 3 is going to be customer rating. Famous Amos, 4.4 out of 5 star. I think second worst on this tournament, actually, for Famous Amos. If you want to know the worst, since they're no longer in here, actually third worst. Worst is Entenmann's cookies. They whiff a 3.9 out of 5 star, which is atrocious comparatively. Girl Scout cookies also second lowest with 4.3 stars. Anyways, what about Oreo? Okay, can they beat 4.4? Yes, they can. 4.8 star, tied for the best in this tournament. They go up 2-1. And finally, category 6, variety of flavor. Oreos, Mega Stuffed, Dirt Cake, and 21 other flavors for a total of 23. Meanwhile, Famous Amos, it's only the original baby for Famous Amos, and that's not going to help them win here. They lose 3-1. Oreo moving on to the grade 8. Famous Amos, adios. You are out of here. So, what did we learn from this second round? All right, we did not have but only 2 decent matches or contentious matches. We had 2 or 3 sweeps as well. If you're moving on and looking ahead to the finale from the grade 8, moving on to the championship, we have no 10 or double-digit seeds, no 10-plus seeds made it to the grade 8. They are all top 10 seeds, so no Cinderella stories to look forward to, just the heavy hitters that you knew would be a part of it. So I will see y'all in the finale. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more of these, hit that subscribe button. Join the Southern Woods community. And I will see you in the next one. Southern Woods out.